Hello everyone, I am Dr.V.Srividhya. The subject which I am going to discuss in this video is entrepreneurship development. In entrepreneurship development, the subtopic, the unit is preparing the business plan, and the subtopic is preparation of the business plan. Uh, yes, viewers, uh, in all the previous videos, we had covered all each and every aspect that has to be taken into consideration for preparing the business plan. In this video, this is full, all the aspects will be taken into consideration, and finally, we'll see how well the business plan can be prepared. So by just seeing this image, you can understand like what all aspects are covered in the business plan. Each and everything has to be taken into consideration. It is not like just I'll be giving more importance for production and or I'm going to give more importance from human resources. No, not like that. Each and every aspect has to be taken into consideration, and undue importance has to be given. When this is done, the business plan will be complete. So, when all the aspects which all are related for the running of a business, it has to be taken into consideration, and based on that, the business plan has to be prepared. So we'll see each and every aspect, last final. All this has been discussed in all the previous video, but finally one summary type we will take into consideration and discuss all that are required. So we'll get a fair idea finally as to how to prepare the business plan. So this is the typical format of a business plan. What all has to be taken into consideration, and what thing we have to give importance. Introduction page. Say for anything we are going to discuss or anything we are going to take into consideration, the first aspect what we have to do is introduction page. As I started with this slide, I just give an introduction that we are going to discuss about entrepreneurship development. Directly, if I come to this business plan and start discussing what happens, you'll be wondering from where this business plan has arisen. So, introduction should be there as to what is the main thing which we are going to discuss on the whole. So, this business plan also requires introduction page. That is, in introduction page, what all has to be taken into consideration is name and address of the business. See, as soon as you see the business plan, the viewer or whoever is seeing that the business plan should know which business this plan has been prepared. So you have to know the name as well as where the business will be situated. Address also has to be known. So in business plan, the starting page or introduction page should contain the name and address of the business. Suppose if it is prepared for some government first grade college, just if you mention government first grade college, it is not enough. It has to be mentioned which government first grade college, maybe Biddi, Ramnagara, or whatever it is. So as soon as you see, we'll try to understand. Okay, fine. I'm not talking about the business. I'm just giving an idea. Suppose if you are preparing a plan for one of the college, let us take that it is government first grade college. You're going to prepare the plan. So as soon as we see that plan, you can understand. Okay, fine. This is government first grade college business plan. But which government first grade college? So that place also has to be mentioned. That is address also has to be mentioned. The name and address of the principal. That means who is going to be the main person for that business, that has to be mentioned. Name as well as the address of that particular person who is going to be the main important person of that business, it has to be mentioned. The nature of business, what type of business is going should be carried on or will be carried on, that has to be mentioned, because unless otherwise you know the nature of business, you won't get a fair idea as to what exactly the business is going to do. Only when you know what is the nature of business, then later on we can look into all the other aspects of the business plan. Suppose if it is going to be manufacturing concern, then when it is manufacturing concern, then you will know like importance has to be given even to the production plan. Suppose if it is service oriented, in service oriented type of business, production is not there actually. Only services will be there. No, so based on the nature of business, you can understand what all has to be taken into consideration while preparing the business plan. Then statement of financing needed. Then statement of confidentiality of report. So this two statement also should be there in the introduction page. So as soon as they see, they'll come to know like what is the financial position, and some confidential report also has to be mentioned.
Next, what? After introduction page, executive summary. This 3 to 4 pages summarizing the complete business plan. As soon as anyone sees the business plan, they'll get a fair and a good idea about the business, what business it is. So, this is here it is mentioned as summary, which means what all is required for the business, all that has to be covered in the executive summary. The next, industry analysis. In industry analysis, suppose if it is going to start up a manufacturing concern in Mandya. In Mandya, for what it is famous? It is famous for sugar industry. So, like it is not only like only you have to take into consideration what particular product is going to manufacture. Industry on the whole has to be analyzed. The outlooks and trends, analysis of competitors, market segmentation, interest and market forecast. So, and on the whole, the industry itself has to be taken into consideration, and based on that, all this information has to be collected regarding competitors, then outlook and trends of that business, then how the market is segmented, and industry and market forecast also. Regarding the forecast of the market also has to be taken into consideration. Next is description of venture. Description of venture means the business. What type of business, whether it is products, services, whether they are going to give a product to the society or service to the society, or both. Both has to be given the information, what type of product, everything has to be mentioned. Size of business has to be mentioned. On the whole, description of venture is a description of the business. Then office equipment and personnel, background and entrepreneurs. So all this about office equipment and the personnel who all are going to work over there, and background and entrepreneurs. All this has to be taken into consideration under the description of ventures. Only when this is taken into consideration, they'll be able to prepare a perfect business plan. Next will be production plan. In production plan, when production plan is taken into consideration, what all is required for the production plan is manufacturing process. When we just take into consideration the production plan, first thing which goes to our mind is manufacturing process. How the manufacturing will be carried on? What is the process? What are the process they are going to use under uh, production, for the production, whether it will be a continuous process or whether there will be step by step process, and what is the plant they are going to use for that physical plant they are going to use, and what are the machineries and equipment that has to be taken into consideration for production, and names and suppliers of raw materials. So when I discussed about production aspect of business, then all this has been discussed in detail. Now it is just a gist I am going to explain you. Name of suppliers who are going to supply the raw materials, all that has to be taken into consideration. Then operational plan. In operational plan, description of company's operation, how the what are the process they are going to carry out, what is the layout, what type of process they are going to carry out, what is the operation they are going to carry out, all that has to be taken in operational plan. Flow of orders for goods or services, how the goods or services will be moved from one process to another process, or after the completion of the production, how the goods will be moved to the market. All that will be taken. Technology, what are the technology that they are going to utilize, all that will be taken into consideration in the operational plan. Then comes marketing plan. In marketing plan, as we discussed about the 4 P's, that is very important: product, place, price, and promotion. This 4 aspect if is taken into consideration, and if all the requirements of these 4 aspects are covered, then marketing plan becomes very effective. What is the product they are going to manufacture, what is the price they are going to quote for it, and how the goods will be moved, like what is the process they are going to adopt, channels of distribution, whether it goes moves directly to consumers or whether intermediaries are there, all this. Then promotional, what they are going to adopt, whether it is advertisement or personal selling or sales promotion, what is the type of promotional activities they are going to carried on, will be prepared under the marketing plan. Next is assessment of risks. Evaluate weakness of business. This when we are taking into consideration SWOT analysis, there itself the weakness of the business will be identified. Then how we are going to adopt new technologies, and it is not just plan will be prepared, even contingency plan also will be prepared. What next, what happens, all this has to be consideration. When the risk factor comes into factor, they have to give utmost importance and consider what will happen if any risk arises. So how it will arise, where the risk factor will be more only when there is more of weaknesses for the business. So each and every weaknesses has to be identified, and how it will be, how it can be rectified, or how it can be overcome. All this has to be taken into consideration. Financial plan, pro forma income statement. In financial plan, all this statement has to be taken into consideration. Cash flow projections, balance sheet, break-even analysis, sources and application of funds. So financial aspect itself we have discussed, but again, just what it is, like we should prepare the projected income statement, same way cash flow, even balance sheet, and exactly we should know where the uh, firm comes to break even point. Break even point is where there is no loss, no gain. That point also to be identified. And what are the sources? How what are the ways you get the funds, and how that funds will be applied? Sources and application of funds. So all this has to be taken into consideration in the financial plan. Next, appendix. So for any this one plan you are preparing or project you are preparing, there should be appendix, which means to state that supporting documents. What are the supporting documents for the project you have prepared, for the plan you have prepared? So letters should be there. Then market, if you have conducted data, if you have conducted research, as I told you, for many aspects, if research is conducted, the data will be very accurate and authentic also. So for that you have to attach the documents, how you conducted research, from where you collected data, all the related documents has to be attached to that. Then leases or contracts, what are the lease agreement has been taken or contracts has been undertaken, all that has to be attached. And price list from suppliers. So you have identified the suppliers, from the suppliers you have to get the price list. All this has to be attached. So when we take into consideration the whole aspect of the business plan, we have discussed each and every aspect in different videos. In this all together, just like summary type we have discussed. So we now, I think by now all of you would have understood what are the main aspects which has to be considered while preparing the business plan. Each and every aspect, if it is taken into consideration in depth, and if the plan is prepared, finally the plan will come out very well. So, just even if one aspect is neglected, suppose if you are neglecting financial plan, the whole business plan will become a flop. So, undue importance has to be given for all the aspects, and based on this, if you prepare a business plan, the business plan will be excellent and efficient, not only for that business, that can also become like a reference for other business also. They can utilize it for other business also. Based on that, has the how the lawyers use the case studies, like from one this one they just refer and take into consideration for other cases also. Like that, this business plan can be used for many purposes. So this books again you can refer, and also have given you the website link, where if you just go to the website link, you'll be able to get many more images related to business plan. So as I told you always, as I have discussed in other videos also, if you look into the images, you will get a clear cut idea and clear picture as to what exactly we want. So thank you all for listening to this video. Any queries, you can contact me. I hope you all have understood exactly what is business plan, and how to prepare business plan. What are the aspects to be taken into consideration? What has to be avoided? What has to be given importance? All this I have discussed till now in the business plan. Thank you all once again for listening to the video. Thank you.